The pickleball serve is a lot like a 2-foot putt in golf. You expect it to go in most of the time. When your serve doesn't go in, it's disappointing because after all, that is the only time that you can score a point. When it starts to miss often, that can be devastating. What can you do when you lose your pickleball serve? If it's ever happened to you, you're going to want to stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's CJ Johnson. Losing a pickleball serve is no fun, and I think that it's probably happened to most of us at one point in time or another. And today we're going to cover some of the reasons that it can happen and what you can do to get yourself out of that slump. But before we get to the serve, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button over here, that lets YouTube know that you find this content important. You'll get a notification anytime I post a new video, which is usually every Saturday. Now, if you're having issues with your pickleball serve, it may be a case of the yips. Yips is pretty prevalent in my old sport of golf. It typically shows up in mature athletes in the short game, either putting or in chipping. In fact, it's so rampant that Mayo Clinic did a study on the yips. I'm going to put a link to that study in the show notes down below if you'd like to see that. Essentially, what they found is that the yips is a task-specific movement. So it only occurs when that person is doing that one particular task. They also found out that in golf, in putting in particular, that when it occurs, it's usually excessive motion in the wrist. And that's certainly something that can throw off your pickleball serve. For some of us, the yips is probably physical, and in that case, you really should go and visit your doctor. For the rest of us, it's probably more on the mental side. We've lost some confidence, tension sets in, we don't make a good motion, and lo and behold, we're missing lots of serves. Let's start by checking your tension levels. And the first place to check is how tightly are you holding the paddle. So let's just say this. If you hold your paddle, a number 1 is it's almost coming out, and 10 is it barely moves. It's so tight. When you serve, you'd like your grip tension to be somewhere around a 4. What happens inside of any motion, whatever tension we start with, is going to increase during the movement because of the forces generated from the movement. So make sure that you start with a light grip pressure. One of the things you also want to check is the tension in your lower body. When we start to have serving troubles, we tend to plant ourselves at the pickleball line and allow for very little body motion. Inside of a good pickleball serve, when the arm is moving forward and backward, the body responds to that motion by moving as well. So make sure that you're allowing your body to move. Another place to check for tension is in your jaw, in your neck, and in your shoulders. That's where most of us carry our tension. When I'm struggling with my serve, one of the things that I like to do is I kind of tighten everything up so it's really nice and tight, and then breathe it out and let it relax, then make my serve. Sometimes when you have the pickleball yips, you just need to make a change to get out of that habit. And that's what you'll see a lot in golf. People will go from the short putter to the long putter, or they'll go from putting right-handed to putting left-handed. In pickleball, a lot of people are very ambidextrous, and if you're one of those fortunate people, try serving with your non-dominant hand and then play the rest of the game with your dominant hand, just like Wes Gabrielson does. Another thing that you might want to give a try is the backhand serve. Scott Moore is certainly one of the best at this backhand serve. Now, It has to be legal, just like a forehand serve. And if you're not sure what that is, click on the link that's coming up above. It'll take you to a previous video I did about making a serve legal and effective. But once your backhand serve is legal, there's a little bit of side spin that tends to happen on a backhand serve from the natural motion of the paddle. A couple of things are a little bit different from the forehand serve. One of those would be it's more of a toss versus a drop because of your body position. The backhand serve can be very tough on the arm and could cause injury. Make sure that you're doing a lot of stretching and that you're doing some icing. After all, you don't want to get tennis or golfer's elbow. Now, most of us don't have the yips by definition because that's something neurological. If you do, make sure you go ahead and see your doctor. Most of us just simply get into a slump, and the lack of confidence allows a lot of tension to come into our pickleball serves. Cure that by looking at your tension levels and trying something different. Lastly, practice, practice, practice. That's what will get you out of this habit. If you got value from this video, if you wouldn't mind giving it a little thumbs up, you could share it with your pickleball playing friends, or leave me a comment down below and tell us, how did you get out of a pickleball serving slump? After all, we learn from each other, because together we'll train smart, live bold, and age well.